Thank you and welcome everyone to the Fiscal Planning, Finance and Building Committee meeting of February the 5th, 2025. It is 6:15. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Item 2 is a motion to convene into closed session. Trustee McDonald, will you do that?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Trustee Alves, will you second it?
Happy to.
Okay, we are all in favor of moving into closed session. We are moved. Item 3 is to rise and report from the closed session. I will do that. And here's what happened. The report of closed session regarding the minutes of the closed session of the Fiscal Planning, Finance and Building Committee meeting of December 4th, 2024. The report on tenders for Ellendale Public School in Mississauga, the land exchange report between the Harold Brathwaite Secondary School site and the City of Brampton, the procurement activity report for November 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and the oral report update on the Britannia Farm be received and the recommendations therein be approved. Can we move that, please? Trustee Davis, thank you. And Trustee Bailey, will you second it? Thank you. All in favor? That is received. Thank you. Item 4 is acknowledgement of traditional lands. Please, staff.
The land upon which we work, live, and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe-Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the lands, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Can we have someone move that approval? Trustee Davies, and seconded by Trustee McDonald. Thank you. All in favor of approval of this agenda? We have Pat, that is carried. Thank you. Item 6 is any declarations of conflict of interest. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7, which is approval of minutes from item 7.1 is the Fiscal Planning, Finance and Building Committee meeting of December the 4th, 2024. This is here for our approval. Trustee Alves, will you move that, please? And Trustee Davies second it. Are there any questions or concerns about those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of approval? Thank you. That's carried. Item 8 is delegations, in which we have none. Item 9 will be staff reports. Item 9.1 is a report on tenders from the Ellendale Public School in Mississauga. This is here for as a recommendation for our approval. And this was sent to us as board members earlier this afternoon. This will be a presentation by Matthew Thomas, our Controller of Planning and Accommodation Support Services. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, and through you, Chair Cameron, good evening. The report in front of you provides information about the results from the recent procurement process and a recommendation regarding the awarding of a contract for the construction of the new replacement Ellendale Public School in Mississauga. I will note that the tender bids only closed last Thursday, January 29th, and final results were not confirmed until the following day. Hence the reason why this report was not circulated originally as part of the meeting agenda, and I thank you for your indulgence. This project, which is an 882 pupil place replacement for the existing Ellendale Public School, has received a total funding approval of $40,825,004 from the Ministry of Education. Tenders were received from the pre-qualified general contractors listed on the second page of the report. The successful bidder, based on price and compliance with all stated technical requirements, is Structon Construction Limited. Structon is responsible for constructing PPFB's Farallon Public School in Brampton in 2014. And in recent years, they have also completed construction projects in neighboring school boards, as noted in the report. Once the contract has been awarded, demolition of the existing school will begin, followed by construction of the new school. We are hoping that the new replacement Ellendale Public School will be ready for occupancy by January 2027. And I will note that the students of Ellendale Public School are currently being hosted at Ashborough Public School, and that will continue for the duration of the construction project. And I'm pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Excellent report. Thank you. Trustee Ells, will you move this, please? And Trustee McDonald, will you second it? It's a Mississauga item, so we have the Mississauga trustees moving and seconding. So are there any questions from around the table or online? Seeing none. Oh, it's Trustee Davis, seeing one.
Just while we're on constructions and all that wonderful stuff, I was just a little bit off topic. I was just looking for an update on Red Cedar. Are we on track? And if you don't have something for me, just email tomorrow is fine.
So I will permit that because it is from business arising about construction.
Okay.
So and it is current information needed. Yes, sir. Mr. Thomas.
Through you, Chair Cameron, thank you, Trustee Davies, for the question. I am pleased to report that based on a project schedule we received even last week, the progress of the construction is still tracking to be completed by summer of 2025, with school opening in time for the start of the 2025-26 school year.
Thank you so much for that excellent news.
Great news. I do have a question myself. Controller Thomas, will we be as a board hosting a groundbreaking ceremony for Ellendale?
Through you, Chair Cameron, it would be our pleasure to coordinate a groundbreaking ceremony. And in fact, I will add that in discussions with the principal of Ellendale, that she is already one step ahead of us in contemplating how that event may be organized and the type of participants that might be involved in making that a successful event.
Wonderful news. I think this project for this community has your report outlines it, how long ago this was started and how our previous trustees were part of trying to move that mountain and having some struggles along the way. We as a board, the city as a city, in getting and the ministry involved as well. We're a long way away from where this first started. So I think the community would really, really appreciate an opportunity to be to see such an event take place with a groundbreaking and hopefully students involved and all of the good things that could happen out of that publicly for us. So thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, this is here as for our approval, everybody. All in favor of approval of this report? That is carried. Thank you. Item 9.2 is a procurement activity report here for our information. This is presentation by our Controller of Finance and Finance Support Services, Tanya Alatisha Charles. Controller Alatisha Charles, welcome.
Thank you, and through you, Chair Cameron. The report before you is the procurement activity report. The report is here for your receipt. All contracts are awarded in accordance with the board purchasing policy and the board procurement regulations. Appendix 1 contains the details of the contracts that have been awarded. As required by the applicable public procurement regulations, the contract awards in this report have been posted publicly by the board, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you for this report. Can we put this on the floor? Trustee Ells will move it. Trustee Bailey, will you second it? Thank you. So it's on the floor. Are there any questions? Yes, Trustee Ells.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you, sir. Apologies if this is an obvious question, but I didn't see the numeric value associated with the expenditures in this report. Is that intentional?
Through you, Chair, I believe that was presented in the closed session.
Understood. So this is the same that we just saw. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, this is here as Controller Alatisha Charles highlighted. Thank you for doing that. That is here for our receipt. All in favor of receipt? That is carried. Thank you. 9.3 is a vandalism activity report, which is also here as information for us to receive. will be a presentation by Enzo Odessa, who is the Manager of Security and Risk Management. Mr. Odessa, are you online?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Chair Cameron.
Yes.
Through you, Chair Cameron, I just will quickly highlight the vandalism we had in September, October, and November. It was a mild fall. We did have vandalism, some significant vandalism in September with 34 incidences, 16 being vandalism, 5 being break-ins, for a total of 21 vandalism break-ins. October, you'll see that we had 42 incidences, 24 being vandalism and break-ins. In November, things slowed down and have continued since November at a really manageable rate of only 14 incidences, 8 being vandalism, 2 break-ins. We had 45 break-ins and vandalism, and it was unfortunate we had a group of teens that we've identified on CCTV video. There was about 20 incidences by this one particular group, and they were in Area 7, which is the Bramley family of schools, and they were moving around up to 6 different schools. And so they were breaking in. They were in and out of the schools for about 5 minutes. They were letting off fire extinguishers. And from what we saw on the cameras, they were fully covered head to toe. We couldn't identify them. We've been working with Peel Police and Dufferin Peel. Dufferin Peel has also experienced about 18 incidences from the same group. So it was a busy September, October, and November. The last incident by this group was at the end of November. So through proactive patrols, putting security guards on site at these schools, we've deterred this type of activity, and hopefully we'll continue to maintain a presence in Area 7, and we're hoping they don't return. So the evidence in the report breaks down what I was alluding to, and then the recommendations, the next steps is ensuring we're providing those proactive patrols to ensure this group does not return to those 6 or 7 schools in Area 7. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you for the report. Let's move this. Trustee Davies, will you move it, please? Trustee McDonald, will you second it? Thank you. It's on the floor. Are there any questions for Enzo about this report? Yes, Trustee Alves, question?
Yes, sir, through you, Chair. There's about 4 really big ticket items that I'd like to better understand. One of them, in one break and enter, there was a theft. It says theft at Lakeview. I could understand like vandalism, there being damage, but there was a theft of $26,000. What did they steal?
Good question through you, Chair Cameron. At that particular school, an organized group broke in at around 4 p.m. in the afternoon and stole $26,000 worth of copper from the basement. So the copper piping was sawed off, and they took the copper piping away.
Wow. Through you, Chair. Thank you for letting us know that. Did we catch the culprits, or are we saying that the group that we weren't able to catch?
This was the second group. This is Peel Police was investigating this incident. They did call looking for different various details, and I believe it's still an open file with Peel Police.
Understood. And through you, Chair, I'll only ask one more question. The next really big ticket item, go ahead, much larger than the others. Again, through you, Chair, there's another big ticket item at Fallingdale for $8,100, and it says school, but I'm not sure if school is theft or what that means. Could you just tell us a bit more about that, Enzo?
Yeah, through you, Chair. Thank you. Basically, at Fallingdale, there was some significant damage during one of the break-ins in this area group, Area 7, Bramley Family of Schools, where the fire extinguisher was sprayed throughout the school, and it affected the photocopier, which was about $2,000, the PA system, which was about $2,000, and then broken windows. And yeah, I guess how we get up to about $8,000 on that, but that was quite significant. And again, Area 7 vandalism accounts for 40% of all the costs of vandalism in those 3 months were associated by this group that has been causing havoc in Area 7.
Wow. Mr. Odessa, thank you so much for the clarification. No more questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. A question from Trustee Susan Benjamin.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I just want to know, you mentioned that these are teens. Are they teens, students from the PPFB or any idea of their identities?
Yeah, we identified two different groups, a group that's probably in grade 9 and 10 that were causing damage, breaking in, vandalism in the afternoon on a Saturdays and Sundays between 4 and 5 p.m. Then we have another group, they're older, they're probably 19 to 21, and they were breaking in always around 3 a.m. in the morning. But we did not track any Wi-Fi activity through our system during those break-in times. So we do believe they're not our students. And Duff and Peel experienced the same break-ins in the same neighborhood. And we were both working together to try to figure out if they were our students or their students.
So I assume that they're from some other area, not in the city or maybe from outside. Anyway, thank you, but this is on the increase.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? So I have one, and so wondering if we know that this past September, October, this group of kids did what they did to our schools. I wonder if the proactive measure would be in place for next September, October, given it seems to be a pattern of time. Will we be able to get ahead of this perhaps next year, September 2025, rather?
Yips, through you, Chair. We will be right on as soon as the March break. Our vandalism season typically starts April 1st, and we'll be monitoring it through the milder months, September, April, May, June, and as well as in September, October on the anniversary dates.
Okay, thank you. Let's call it the anti-vandalism unit. Let's not have a vandalism unit. But thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All the questions have been asked. This is here as information for our receipt. All in favor of receipt? That is carried. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Enzo. Item 10 is communications, for which I have none. Item 11 is trustee motions, for consideration of which I have none. Item 12 is trustee notices of motion. We have none. And item 13 is adjournment. Trustee Davis, will you adjourn us? Trustee Alves, will you second? All in favor of adjournment? That is carried. Good evening and thank you, everyone.